Do you regret your actions? Do you still think about what you did? I've got lots of unanswered questions. I would love to know why. Why my mother? There were hundreds of women there that night. Why her? Was it intentional, or was it something that spiraled out of control? Did he know her secret? And that's why.
There's a fundamental human need to know who we are and where we come from.
I'm not looking for a happy ending, because that's very few and far between.
It's one of those cases that is so rare, it's impossible for it not to stay with you.
And we're paying for it every day of our life.
I'm at the age now where if I don't find the information now, I'm never going to.
It was sad because your mum was a lovely person.
I've come this far, I've only got a few more steps to go. My name is Maria, and I want to meet my mother's killer. I think I had a pretty normal childhood. I was never a spoiled child, but if I wanted something or if I needed something, I was always well fed. I had a little dog, we had budgies. Yeah, life was pretty normal. My parents came from Italy, a small little village in Teramo. My mother was called Maria, and my father was called Enrico. Both typical Italians, dark hair, olive skin. I remember my father's telling me something about he came over here to work in the steelworks. And then when I came along, I believe that's when they sort of like had their own ice cream business. My dad and my mum both had ice cream vans each. I remember it being soft ice cream, and I still to this day absolutely love soft ice cream. When I was told I was adopted, I was about 8, watching a TV programme with my mum. And there's a little girl on there playing the piano, and she turned and said, "Oh, you're adopted?" And I just went, "Okay." When my dad came in, I said, "So, what does it mean adopted?" And he said, "Well, most people get given babies." He said, "But we didn't get given you. We got to pick you." Dear Mr. and Mrs. Di Jacobi, I am very glad to be able to tell you that we can at last offer you a baby. Child's name, Catia Rimondi. Weight of birth, coming later. The fact that now they picked me out of all the babies in the world, they picked me. So that's what was in my head at that time. And after my mother passed away, things changed. The death certificate said that she was involved in a car accident, but she'd left a letter. She took her own life. I remember her sort of like taking an overdose a few weeks beforehand, and she was just saying that, it was an accident. I remember her saying it was an accident. And then one particular night she was on her way out. She said, "You never know how much you love somebody until they're gone." I thought, I had no clue what she meant. I got up the following morning, my dad was by the window pacing. I was like, "Well," I said, "Where's Mum?" He said, "Oh," he said, she won't be long." A few months later, we found a letter that she'd left under the bed saying that she was really sorry. And she made my dad promise to look after me. My father did say that, she took her own life because she thought she was going insane. But I said it came down to the menopause, because back then, things like that was sort of like hidden in the closet, not talked about. So I can't remember how long exactly After my mother passed away, my dad said, oh, look, if you want to find a bit more about your adoption, upstairs in the wardrobe, there's a little blue makeup bag, and in there's everything you need to know about your adopted and your real family. Dear Mr. and Mrs. DeJacobi, I am delighted to know that you've accepted Catia Rimondi with a view to legal adoption. I'm sure you will be very happy with the child, and below you will find a brief history of the case. Reason why child was offered for adoption: mother is only 16 and grandmother cannot help. Mother, Catia Rimondi. Father, Timothy. Address not known. Only known each other for 4 months. The issue of my identity has always been there from a young age. I know a little bit about my mum. My dad is my missing piece to my jigsaw. I want to find my missing part.
Between 1950 and 1972, approximately 250,000 children were adopted by strangers in England and Wales. And I was domestically adopted in the UK in 1968. What happened after the war was that there were more teenagers having social lives, being more independent. There was no access to birth control for unmarried women. There was no access to abortion, and the numbers of births outside marriage rose quite sharply, and alongside that, the numbers of adoptions to strangers rose sharply during that time. A large part of it was shame and families who didn't want to have the stigma of illegitimacy in the family. Some of it was for religious reasons. Some of it was because the state made it very difficult for young women or single women to access welfare support and accommodation and childcare.
My parents and my grandparents were all Roman Catholic, so it certainly wasn't a done thing to have, you know, you were meant to be married before you even considered having sex. But I don't think anybody should be forced to give up a child. That's one of the worst things a mother could ever go through. From what I can gather, she was sent off to a convent to have me. It was a big secret. She wasn't supposed to tell anybody. It's a very big secret to keep it at 16. The only people that knew were my grandparents. But apart from that, I don't know, because I never had the chance to have the conversation with my mum. She went out on her 21st birthday and was brutally murdered. My mother, she was known to the family as Catia. Some people called her Marina, some people called her Catherine, but really she was known to the family as Catia. I know she was born in Italy. She was about 4 years of age when she came over. And apart from that, not a lot. She went out on her 21st birthday and was brutally murdered. So according to the newspapers, my mum had gone out on the 21st birthday with friends. And she never made it home that night. The man that murdered my mother was Robert Davis. He'd given her and I think it was 3 others a lift. He dropped everybody home and my mother was the last one to be dropped off. But he never dropped her off.
Yeah, it was in this area here that the vehicle was. In 1973, I was a young detective constable in the Gwent Police, working from the Civic Centre. A gentleman walking his dog had been walking down where the stream, which is across the road from where the car was, and he found your mother's body in the stream, face downwards, and reported it, and it took off from there. At that time, we didn't know whether it was a murder, a suicide, accident, could have been anything. But obviously, when the uniform officer, or whoever it was that went to the scene, discovered the body, he could see that your mum had been stabbed about 17 times. My task with another officer was to visit all the licensed premises and nightclubs in the Newport area to see if we could find anything out. We visited Alexander's nightclub, spoke to the doorman, who were able to give us information that the night before, your mum, who was known to them, had left the premises with a guy by the name of Davis, who the doorman also knew because he frequented the club. They'd got into a vehicle which fitted the description of the vehicle that was found at the scene. The Detective Chief Inspector at the time, Mr. Jack Harries, instructed myself and the other officer to go out and see if we could find Davis. We went to his house in the Malpas area. He was there with his mum and dad. We arrested him, sent for scenes of crimes officers to take possession of his clothing, and we took him back to the Civic Centre.
So what was he like when you arrested him? Did he admit to the offence to you straight away?
Well, he intimated in the car to myself and the other officer that he was responsible. He didn't appear agitated in any way whatsoever. He seemed quite calm. Very matter-of-fact is the best way to describe it, I think. He's the last type of person I'd have thought would have, used that type of violence. When he was younger, he was quite a timid sort of fella. If you had to have a guess at somebody, if they gave you sort of 5 people and said, pick the violent one out of that, he would be the last one you'd pick.
How did the case impact you personally?
It was sad. Your mum was a lovely person. Everything we got to know about her, she was a lovely person. And then the impact comes from, which would have been your grandma and your granddad, the toll that it had on them, to be quite honest with you. It's one of those that stayed with me because it was my first, say, big arrest, if you like. The thing about it is, I have got no recollection, and I don't remember at the time being told as to why he had done it. Now, whether he'd made advances and your mother had said no and fought him off, or it's all up in the air. I don't know. And after all this time, I can't even hazard a guess, really.
I would love to know why my mother. There were hundreds of women there that night. Why her?
It's 6 o'clock. You're watching HTV. It's time for the National News of Wales.
Gwent police are questioning a man in connection with the murder of Graham Budgie Mills. Mr. Mills was found dead last week. He'd been stabbed in the chest, back and head.
I was on that day interviewing candidates for promotion. And I received an urgent knock on the door partway through an interview to say a body had been found at a house in Newport, and it was a very, very violent crime scene. It was an incredibly vicious attack. He was armed with a long-bladed instrument called a kukri, a bit like a machete, as well as a sharpened tyre lever, both of which he used on Mr. Mills in killing him. It was very quickly brought to my attention, of course, that there was some history in relation to the Mills family and Robert Henry Davis. He had been convicted of murder on a previous occasion in 1973, and again was our chief suspect for this offence in Newport in 1999. Robert Davis was accused of a sexual assault and went on trial at Cardiff Crown Court. Graham Mills was a witness in that case. After the first day of the trial, when he was next due to give evidence, Davis absconded and went on the run and was not seen again. Shortly after that time, there were 3 firebomb attacks of 3 homes in the Newport area. And he was a suspect in those offences. Well, for 6 months, nothing was heard from or about Davis. He simply vanished. Then, on the 13th of September 1999, Robert Davis went to the Mills house in Newport, broke into the house in the early hours of the morning, went upstairs where he found Graham Mills and viciously attacked and killed him. This clearly appeared to us to be a targeted attack at that stage.
Well, he was like a clown who never grew up. He enjoyed his... everything he did was comical, you know what I mean? Joking about, singing, and non-stop he was like it. I don't know where he got the energy from. Oh, he was well liked around the neighbourhood. Everywhere he went, he was over liked. He done roofing, he done building, he done literally everything. And in the end, he decided to join the army. But he was a bloke who would always help you, give you anything. It was one hell of a shock for everybody. You're never going to get over it. He just ruined us all. And we're paying for it every day of our lives.
Well, this was immediately identified, obviously, as a very high-risk situation. What was this guy going to do next?
Police are trying to track down the owner of this tracksuit top, which was found along with a green t-shirt and a grey sock a quarter of a mile from the scene of the murder in Newport.
We're obviously very interested to hear from anybody that saw anybody in this alleyway at any time disposing of bloodstained clothing or who may have been acting suspiciously.
We believe that somebody knew where Davis was. We put in a number of tactics that you would expect on an occasion like this, involving both covert investigation as well as intelligence-led investigations.
Detectives believe they're now closing in on the killer of Graham Mills.
I well remember being at home on a Sunday evening, about a week after the offence. I get a phone call from Andy Watts, the DI in the case. We've actually now got a lead as to his location. He'd actually been living in a hide in a place called Drayton Quarry. We brought together a number of resources, police search resources, including armed officers and including police dogs, to try and identify the actual hide and to find Davis. As it transpired, the hide was constructed over the foundations of a former workman's hut in the woods. He'd managed to excavate the bottom of that to make it a bit deeper, to put a tin roof over the top of it using corrugated sheets, and then to disguise that with branches and leaves so that from the naked eye you would never be able to see it. He actually had a dog with him in the hide, and a police dog walked across the roof of the hide, and the dog inside barked. And that was the first indication we had of where exactly the hide was. We then obviously managed to put a containment on the hide, call him out, and arrest him.
A Newport man has appeared in court charged with murder. Robert Henry Davis, who's 46, is accused of stabbing former soldier Graham Mills last week. Davis was remanded in custody until next month.
Well, any man who's killed somebody and went to jail for a long time in life when young and come out and do it again, there's got to be something not right upstairs with him.
The jury at Chester Crown Court heard today that in a frenzied attack, Mr Mills sustained repeated slashes with the knife, including 2 blows to the head which fractured his skull. Davis has pleaded not guilty to murder. The trial continues.
It's one of those cases that is so rare, it's impossible for it not to stay with you. I think he was calculating. I think he knew what he was doing. When he went for trial, he had tried to claim that he was only defending himself when he killed Graham Mills. We believed at the time, and I still believe, that the only reason he pleaded not guilty was so that he could see those witnesses go through the very difficult experience of having to give evidence. Once the first couple of witnesses had given their evidence, Davis actually changed his plea to guilty to the murder of Graham Mills and was sentenced to life imprisonment. I don't think Robert Davis should ever be released. He has hurt individuals and a community more than you can possibly imagine. And many, many people still living are still suffering the after effects of his offending and will do so for the rest of their lives.
He should never be out in anybody's eyes. When you go to the public and ask the public if they want to let him out, they won't. He took my brother's life. It says in the Bible, a life for a life.
To Robert, I hope this letter finds you in a place where you're able to reflect on your choices and actions that have brought us to this moment. I'm going to write a letter to Robert Davis because I want to know why he murdered my mother. I've got so many questions for him. I'm at the age now where if I don't find the information now, I'm never going to. I've debated for a long time whether to write to you. But there are questions I feel I need to ask to find some sense of closure and understanding. Do you regret your actions? Do you feel any guilt or shame? Do you still think about what you did? I spent much of my life wondering about the reasons behind what happened. Why did it happen? Was it intentional or something that spiraled out of control? Do you believe that people can change? Did you know that your actions will leave a hole in the lives of so many people? There's nothing I can do to change the past, but I need to ask these questions or try and make sense of the senseless. I'm not writing to accuse or judge. Life has already delivered its consequences. I'm searching for answers that only you can provide. I appreciate a response. Whether you choose to answer or not, I hope this letter gives you an opportunity to reflect on the impact of what happened. Thank you for taking the time to read this. Yours sincerely, Maria. Only he knows the truth, and there's so many different things I read in the papers. I just want to get to the truth. I'd ask him, how well he knew her. Did they have a relationship? What was she like as a person? And why he did what he did. I'd like to meet him, as if he had the courage to. I would quite happily, willingly sit there and ask those questions face to face, just to see if he can look me in the eye. I've got lots of unanswered questions from the guy that took my mum away. It's a black and white picture.
I know the photo, but it's black and white.
Yeah.
There, black and white photo. That's it. I think you can see it.
Catia Rimondi, whose life was taken so tragically on her 21st birthday, 20th of May, 1973. And she had been 4 at the time. I'm never going to have the chance to ask her the questions that I want to know. I'm never going to have a mother and daughter bond. I never got that time with my mother, and he took that away from me, which makes me quite angry. My daughter is so much like her, so much like her. Just makes me wonder what relationship we would have had she still been alive. Possibly somewhere, somebody may remember Catia Rimondi. Robert may have some answers. My mother's friends, hopefully some of them are still alive. I know I'm able to fill in the gaps. I would love to meet my dad, know more about my dad. Could I have more brothers and sisters, half-sisters, brothers? Who knows? I don't know. I've been more on my own than part of a family. So it's just belonging. I'd ask her if I make her proud. What would she think of what I've done over the years? Do I make her proud?